Thanks for staying with us in the conversation. Now, the crisis rocking the Labour Party leadership in Nigeria has been attributed to a ploy by disgruntled members who are against the party from contesting the February 25 presidential election in court. This was revealed by the spokesperson for the Labour Party Presidential Campaign Council, Yunusa Tanko, following disputes over the removal of the party national chairman, Julius Abure. Justice Hamzu Muazu of the FCT High Court had restrained Julius Abure, the national chairman of Labour Party, Farouk Ibrahim, the national secretary, and two of the national executive members from exercising their offices as national officers of the party following allegations of document forgery by party member James Onoja. Some members of the National Working Committee of the Labour Party, LP, led by the Deputy National Chairman of the party, South, Lamidi Apapa, have since taken over the affairs of the party following this court judgment. Meanwhile, Julius Abure has rejected what he described as illegitimate executive members of the Labour Party, LP, and maintained he remains national chairman of the party. Now, join us for this conversation, we have Comrade Eragbe Anslem, National Youth Leader, Labour Party, and Edo-North 2023 Senatorial candidate. And we also have Yomioke Ashiwaju, Public Affairs Analyst, who joins us from Ogun State in Nigeria. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us in this conversation.
It's a pleasure. Good evening.
Good evening. So, Yomi, looking at the leadership situation going on in the Labour Party, I mean, earlier on we had the head of the People's Democratic Party. Now the Labour Party is having a supposed factional chairman, while a lot of people, rather some other people, are throwing their weight behind the embattled national chairman, Julius Abure. What do you make of this confusion we're seeing, if we can call it a confusion, in the Labour Party?
I think that this affirms position of some people like me who have earlier said that the Labour Party can be likened to be an SPV. That is just a special purpose vehicle used by some politicians who probably did not get a space in the two mainstream parties and political parties in Nigeria. I just felt let us use Labour Party to achieve our objective. So, of course, these people are core politicians. You cannot separate them from the mainstream political parties, the major political parties that we have in Nigeria, that's APC and PDP. So definitely the tendencies that they have in them, the characteristics that they have while they were in their previous party will definitely play out in this new party. So that's exactly what I feel is just playing out. These are disgruntled members of the existing political parties. We just felt that Labour Party can be used to achieve the objective at that point in time. As a matter of fact, most of them do not even have an idea that Labour Party will become a bride to behold in the political space in Nigeria today. So what played out eventually before the elections and after the elections is just like a movie they did not plan that will work out that way. So this is just a way of letting the world to know that they are not as, should I call them, they are not saints like some people think they are. They are also the regular politicians that will definitely exhibit the tendencies of the regular politicians in Nigeria. So that's exactly what is just playing out.
Okay, now, Comrade Eragbe, I mean, you're a member of the party also, and we're seeing this leadership tussle. We're seeing on one side some people supporting Julius Abure, and the other side some people saying that the court order said and restrained Julius Abure from being the national chairman of the party. And Lamidi Apapa is claiming that he has the support of the National Working Committee. So what exactly is going on within your party?
Okay, good evening.
Evening, Comrade Eragbe, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Comrade Eragbe Anslem,
okay.
The National Youth Leader of Labour Party here.
All right, so tell us what exactly is going on in your party. Why are we seeing one chairman who poses himself as the original chairman and the other one saying that he has the support of the National Working Committee?
It's okay. I think it's important at this point. We have the privilege to tell the world exactly the issues as they are in Labour Party. First and foremost, let me say that there are no factions in Labour Party. It's instructive to say this at this moment. And two, to say the issues we have on hand basically are centered around a court order. Now, it has to do with the issues of criminality, forgery, perjury, and criminal conspiracy indulged in by Barrister Julius Abure, the National Chairman of Labour Party, with 3 other National Working Committee members, the National Secretary, the National Treasurer, the Financial, the National Organizing Secretary. Now, what happened was, there's this case of, during the course of the 2023 general elections, expression of interest, nomination of candidates. We have a candidate, we have someone who emerged as a governorship candidate in Ebonyi State by name Comrade Oko Eze, Splendor, as our governorship candidate. He went through a valid nomination process, elected as the candidate of the party, and his details were uploaded in the INEC portal. Now, subsequently, Barrister Julius Abure unilaterally removed the name of the candidate from the INEC portal by forging certain documents to replace his details in INEC. All of this information in evidence today. When the candidate knew of this, he came to the national headquarters from Ebonyi to make inquiry. But Abure boasted to him that he's the national chairman, he can do and undo. The young man prayed and left, and Abure continued. Eventually, his name was substituted by one architect, Edo-North, whom they conducted illegal primaries for. Ordinarily, went ahead to forge document his withdrawal letter, which he never signed.
All right.
And so many other details, and replaced all of his information in the INEC portal. And subsequently, when INEC released the names of candidates, sometimes in October 2022, it became obvious that his name had been removed and that of Edward Ukwegu was replaced. He made an application to INEC, and INEC made available to him all of those details. He went to Court of Appeal, he won. Barrister Julius Abure appealed the case. He went to Court of Appeal and won. Again, they appealed the case to Supreme Court and won at the Supreme Court. Afterwards, he got the services of SAN, who wrote petition to the Inspector General of Police attaching all the necessary documents. The Nigeria Police, for CID, under the Inspector General of Police, conducted an investigation with forensic audit. The report of the forensic audit is now a public information. Barrister Julius Abure, the National Secretary, the National Treasurer, and National Organizing Secretary were indicted in that police report.
Okay, now, Comrade Eragbe, due to time, I mean, you were listing that, and I like the fact that you're telling the whole world what exactly is going on in the Labour Party and the actions that has brought Julius Abure to this particular point where he has been restrained by the court. But now, according to the party's constitution, it is said that only a convention can remove the national chairman, and so the suspension of the party chairman is illegal. What do you have to say to that?
Well, basically, now we have a case of criminality here. Now, we are not talking about suspension right now. We are talking about a situation where the court, FCT High Court, whose documents were forged, that amounts to perjury now, upon investigation by the police, have granted a warrant of arrest on Abure and 3 others. So it is this FCT High Court that the party aggrieved official approached with these details that subsequently restrained Barrister Julius Abure and 3 others from parading themselves as national officers of Labour Party. Now, the Constitution of Labour Party stipulates that in the event of a vacuum, the Deputy National Secretary, the Deputy National Chairman steps in automatically in place of the National Chairman. So there was a meeting, an emergency meeting of the Labour Party National Working Committee, where this restraining order was ratified by way of implementation. And Alhaji Lamidi Apapa, who is the most senior man in Labour Party, and the Deputy National Chairman South of the Labour Party, naturally was elevated as acting National Chairman to that position by reason of this court restraining order, because vacuum is not permitted. Now, I need to tell Nigerians that these are 2 different issues. They are separate issues. The Labour Party has not suspended Barrister Julius Abure, as it were, even though his ward, Ward 3, suspended him, and he ran to court in Benin to grant an enrollment order to restrict the NEC and NWC for implementing the ward suspension. So what we are saying is these are 2 different issues. So the party in itself has not suspended him, but he now cannot parade himself as national chairman or national officer because the FCT High Court, on the basis of the criminal investigation report, indictment, placed a restraining order on him. So it is this restraining order that the National Executive Council in an emergency meeting upheld, where the constitutional provision was assented to, and the most senior man in the party, the Deputy National Chairman South, Alhaji Lamidi Apapa, was elevated to the position of acting National Chairman. So it is very important we make this clarification now, that the Labour Party in itself has not suspended Abure, as it were, but of course the party, the National, has implemented the court order. So Abure cannot now perform the duties of the National Chairman because he has been restrained. So this is the position of law in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, Comrade Eragbe. Now, I'll come to Yomi now with this issue going on in the Labour Party. And there are speculations, I mean, with all this crisis going on. And you mentioned it earlier in your previous disposition. And you said that members of the Labour Party are somewhat disgruntled members of other political parties. And there has been accusation on the ruling All Progressives Congress that they are trying to create chaos in the Labour Party. What do you make of these allegations?
Well, basically, let me say emphatically.
All right, so Comrade Eragbe, I'll come to you shortly, but I want Yomi to answer that, please.
If that allegations were to be considered as being true or false, should we also say that APC should be fingered, you know, as regards the crisis also rocking the PDP? Are they the ones, you know, causing that to happen as well? I think what Labour Party should rather do at this point in time is to come out clean. The leadership has to come out clean because there are serious allegations against the national chairman, which of course borders on his integrity and by extension, the integrity of the party as a whole. So it is important that the Labour Party as a party and of course its presidential candidate and the vice presidential candidate should be able to exonerate themselves from the activities of their party chairman, who happens to be the most senior official, national official of the officer, I mean, of the party. The allegations that the youth leader had read out now are true. Then the integrity of the Labour Party, a party that has been adjudged to be a saint or a party of saints, and a party that happens to be the hope of the masses, should not be caught in this kind of web of allegations of fraud and, you know, doctoring documents that are not meant to be doctored in the first place. So I think we should not talk about APC being the one, you know, instigating or working around it, that the party should be engulfed in this kind of a crisis. I think it's the Labour Party. I think this is an issue of character of the persons involved, and it borders on integrity, which they really need to clear so that Nigerians can see them to be the true hope of the masses.
Okay, now quickly, Comrade Eragbe, I mean, what do you see to all of this, and why has the APC been fingered into this sort of confusion we're seeing in Labour Party? Comrade Eragbe, can you hear me? Okay, so can you hear me, Comrade Eragbe? Okay, so quickly, your final thoughts. Unfortunately, we seem to have lost Comrade Eragbe there. I would have wanted him to really speak on this. But for you, Yomi, I mean, what's your own view on this? And how do you think the Labour Party can get its house in order? Because some other people are saying that this is a form of distraction, because we know that there's a courting case challenging the February 25 presidential elections by the candidate of Peter Obi. How will this affect the status of the party?
See, I do not join my voice with those who feel that this is a distraction. I just feel that this is something that some of us had envisaged in the past, that it will happen. Because, like I said earlier on, the Labour Party, for some of these politicians, just happen to be SPV. They just want to use it to actualize their objective. As a matter of fact, most of them did not even know that they will come this far, in this quest to getting into political power. So, they didn't plan for this, and at the end of the day, they realized that the people who run the party, because of course the party cannot be the party can't work on its own. It has to be that people will work together to ensure that the party runs. So the people that are involved in running the party, they have character problem, and this is beginning to tell on the party itself. One can even deduce or assume that some of the allegations against the party in some parts of the country where they feel that the road result could actually be true. So if a party that is coming to the public court, and of course the court of justice, to seek fairness when it comes to the election as regards the result of the election, should be able to tell us truly that even within them internally, they have soiled their hands. So if we want to judge by what is happening within the party now, one can assume and deduce that the party in itself cannot be exonerated from electoral fraud that they are accusing other parties of, because even within them, we have seen them perpetrate something similar, if not exactly fraud.
All right, thank you so much, Yomi. Lots of things going on in the Labour Party. We do hope that they're able to put their house in order and focus on other issues. Thank you so much for joining us, and also Comrade Eragbe for joining us in this conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.